This is Lorena, and I wanted to do a video on how to make a magnet bag. Yeah, I made this magnet bag. Let me show you what it looks like. I made this one for my long arm. I know it's kind of flimsy, but it has two magnets that kind of clamp onto the frame of the long arm so that when I'm cutting thread tails and I end up cutting a lot of thread off of the long arm, I have a place to put them instead of making a ball or a mess, and I have something to put them. The neat thing is, because this has a magnet, I am able to magnetize my tools inside the bag. I did this one, and I did a very small one to sit on the machine itself, and I'll put some videos, pictures in a little bit. And the neat thing is all my tools kind of clamp onto the magnet, and the magnet is back here and it clamps onto the machine. So let's get making. All right, I'll see you in a minute. Bye. All right, the materials you're going to need is that cork material. It's 5 by 16, and you're going to also use an inside lining. I measured this 6 by 16, so you're increasing it by an inch, and this is 4 by 16, and you're going to fold it, and this is what's going to hold your magnet. What we're going to do is start working on the inner lining. You're going to sew that edge, and you're going to bring it together, and then you're going to fold it center. And after you fold it center, you're going to sew the bottom seam, but leave yourself a 2-inch opening. And you're going to also sew the other edge, and make sure that this is nice and secure, because you're going to use this material to turn your bag inside out, and this is what it's going to look like. Okay, after you do this, you're going to get your cork fabric, and you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to sew all the way across and not leave an opening, so it's the same pattern. And then you're going to fold the material, and you're going to give yourself these little corner points. I cut them like a 1/2 inch off, and then I sewed over it so that it gives it that boxy look, and I did it on both sides. And this is what it looks like on both sides. Then you're going to turn this right side out. Cork, this material is kind of stiff, so just work it. But the neat thing is it didn't break on me or tear on me after I sewed it. So after you do that, you're just going to go ahead and push all your corners out and make sure that it looks like the box or the bag that you want it to look like. And this is what the bottom looks like on this little bag. After you do that, you're going to get that inner lining, and you're going to bring that inner lining and kind of like as if you're putting a pillow sham, but you're doing it on a bag. So you're going to push that inner lining on top and make sure that you line up both of your seams. Okay, one of the mistakes I did is my inner lining is the same measurement as my bag, so it was a little tight to do this, but I increased it by an inch, so I think it'll help when you're doing this process. Now we're going to start working on the border. You're going to go ahead and sew a seam right here. This is what's going to hold your magnets, and after you do that, you're going to turn your fabric right side out. And then you're going to get your fabric and turn it within itself, I guess fold it in, and make sure that your raw edges are lined up on top of each other. After you do that, you're going to go ahead and bring the lining of your bag a little bit lower so that you could tuck in this border between the cork fabric and your lining. Now here you're going to have 4 raw edges. And this is really important because you want to get all your raw edges in line so that when you sew it, you don't see any of that raw edges or it coming out on you. I ended up not doing that, so I had to re-sew, so I'm trying to help here. So you're going to get your pins and pin all the way around, and then you're going to go on your sewing machine and sew around the edge about 1/4, maybe more than 1/4, but give yourself about 1.5 inches in the back where the seams are so that you could put in the magnets. And then after that, you're going to go ahead and remove all the pins, and you're going to see the back. Like I said, there's going to be an opening, and you're going to put a magnet within the border. Now, I only did 1, but I needed 2, so I recommend that you use 2 of the magnets, and the border is big enough that the magnet can be shifted within the area that you have already seamed, and then you're going to close that seam. So I recommend you have 2, but if you have a small bag, you can use only 1 magnet. All right, on the bottom of your lining, you still have that opening. You're going to go ahead and turn your bag right side out. After you turn your bag right side out, which is a little bit of wrestling here, make sure that you check all your seams where you have the magnet and all the way around the bag. And then you're going to close off that lining opening and then tuck that lining in your bag, and now we're done. Look how beautiful that looks. Yeah, it's that simple. All right, I wanted to share some extra clips on how I did the letter L on the cork fabric. I went ahead and I got on my Cricut cutting machine, the Maker, and I cut the letter L. And by the way, it cuts beautifully. So if you're on the fence, it's a great machine. Then I got my Elmer's glue and I tacked the fabric. Yeah, I love Elmer's glue. I don't hide the fact. This is an awesome glue. And I tacked all the lettering down, and I went on my sewing machine and I sewed it. Now, I did a horrible job sewing it, so don't judge. But the good thing is I used the same color thread as the cork, so it doesn't look bad on film. But in person, it's okay. It's okay. It's tacked down. It works. You could probably also use glue instead of sewing. And then I'm also sharing with you the measurements and the process of this bag. It's exactly the same as the first part of the tutorial, just smaller. And I also used only one magnet. Exactly the same, but the only difference is I cut the letter L out to make it look a little bit more fancy. So I really do hope you like this video. I'm going to put some pictures on what this looks like on the long arm, or any area that has metal. You can magnetize it and you have a little bag. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.